museum music or ghost band music. Follow your heart, the future is now. Take a journey through the eyes of a working musician and teacher in Paterson, New Jersey. Our friend, the professor, in a conversation with a friend. Barry, my old University of Wisconsin music professor, stated that ideally, music of all stripes should reflect the culture, both past, present and future, or else it becomes museum music or ghost band music. What happens, and I know it well, is that the professor and instructors in music are usually jazz players. Most modern-day rhythm and blues or R&B players are not good readers or may not have the college credentials. Classical music is even more obscure than jazz, and there are no courses that I know of on rhythm and blues and funk in college. Jazz had always been something passed on via mentors. There is a need to validate all those years of practice and paying your dues. The complexity of jazz also lends to its mystique. So instructors hone into you that jazz is an art form that must be preserved and acknowledged, which is true. But somewhere along the line, they missed a point that it must also move forward and develop. Jazz evolved from its early roots, through the big band pop era, into bebop. It evolved from dance music to an intellectual exercise. Yes, you must develop your chops by playing through its complexity. A sax player that can run Cherokee up-tempo in all keys is a wonder to behold. But even a master like Train got tired of it. Giant Steps was actually his rebellion against the focus on chords in rapid succession. Ironically, it is now part of the problem he fought against. Players are judged by their technical prowess, not by the beauty of the music itself. So I fully understand that players think they have to play ghost band jazz to be legit. The people who taught them the music have hammered it into their heads, and young players think it is the way they gain recognition. But as graduates of Berklee find out, you can't make a living playing straight-ahead jazz. You have to learn how to play other styles of music. You can live in the past or in the present. You can appeal to people who think old music makes them more respectable, or to those who buy the actual recordings. There should be no limitations on the music you play. You should play it all. Bebop Nazis are stuck in a prison of their own making. I have learned to appreciate all music, especially African-based music. At first, I didn't get reggae. The beat on the 3? Now, I enjoy it. I didn't like the mediocrity of disco, but now I realized it was the big band era with a 4-on-the-floor beat. But as with everything in America, there is also a racism angle. White folks love the good old days. They could dance to big band music. They couldn't dance to funk. Many of the standards they love were also written by their people. Remember the lady Thursday that kept calling for summertime? She didn't understand what Nat, John and Tommy were doing. She wanted the jazz of her comfort zone. Back when we were slaves and sang on the riverboats. That was a play written by a white man, music by a white man, who stole it from black folks. Jazz can be broken down to two main concepts, improvisation and syncopation. Using that template, rap music is jazz. Hip-hop is jazz. But as long as the white critics and the black critics married to white women are in charge, it will never be recognized in the media as such. They will keep dragging us back to the good old days. Many of us go through that phase of thinking we have to prove ourselves by playing giant steps up-tempo. The younger musicians may grow out of it, or they will have to get day jobs. There is no excuse for the older ones. They should know better. They know how hard it is to survive playing it. Either they are masochists or they are in denial. We should honor the past, but we don't keep doing the march from Selma to Montgomery every week either. At some point, we have to move forward, not keep looking back. No true jazz cat wants you to imitate him or her. They want you to build on what they started. Pick up the baton and finish the race. not retrace their steps. Fusion was a step forward, the blending of rhythm and blues and jazz. Acid jazz was a step forward, the blending of hip-hop with jazz. An artist like Ronnie Jordan built on what George Benson had done. I like Dan's term because we are playing the music of ghost people who've died. I plan to adopt it. I love my friend Hank Jones, but I didn't live in the stride piano era, like he did. I came of age with Herbie, Freddie and Chick. Also of the music of Earth, Wind and Fire, James Brown and the Stylistics. As my friend, the legendary promoter Richard Nader said, the soundtrack of our lives is the music of our teen years. I listened to Norma Connors and Phyllis Hyman. I am more in tune with You Are My Starship than I am all of me. One group adapted and they are my favorite group, the Crusaders. They could all play straight ahead jazz, but they didn't. They lasted long after many others faded away. Kudos to the late Dr. George Butler at Columbia for giving us the music that started on CTI and took the charts by storm. I loved Leviticus and WRVR. Loved CD 101.9 until they destroyed it. Glad to see after many email arguments with Cephas Bowles that WBGO-FM is now playing some music from the 70s, although only a few hours out of the week. I told him years ago it would be successful. His excuse was the white donors. They depend on wanting only the old shit, as Miles called it. All of me should be retired and left alone. Summertime should be given long-deserved retirement, as well as songs like Autumn Leaves and All the Things You Are. Even Miles would not play all blues or any of the music from that era anymore. I didn't hear Herbie play Dolphin Dance when I saw him live. If you are going to go back, then do Jitterbug Waltz and St. Louis Blues. What I think is the problem is fear of the unknown. It is easy to copy what has been done, but to create the new music is what many are afraid of. Glad it didn't stop Ronnie Jordan or Earl Glue. I hear you. It is hard for me to sit through a set of the old shit. My fear in going to many places like the Priory is that I will have to hear it. At least at Robin's Nest, I can change it up when I play. And no one has ever gotten upset from me doing that. They actually are relieved. And if I do a standard, it is one that you seldom hear. Sometimes I do some Gil Scott-Heron. Home is where the hatred is, the bottle or war, the world is a ghetto and the people love it. I am never going to be Hank Jones or Art Tatum. I have to be who I am. I have to play the music that is inside of me. A bebop Nazi would have never given rap or hip-hop a chance. I did because it is all music. At this point, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. I just want to play great music and have bright moments. Rashawn Roland Kirk's term for the magic. Getting paid is nice, but not essential anymore. Sharing my love for the music is. I loved watching you enjoy the music Thursday. That is what it is all about. The only one who didn't get it was that white woman who wanted Summertime. Nat Adderley Jr. is in a good place. His dad was a famous jazz player and his work with Luther Vandross as his MD and co-producer is legend. He can play whatever he chooses. He's paid the cost to do so. He's immune to the bebop Nazis. It was jazz at its best. Great players, great songs, a modern perspective. When I was in school Friday, I pointed out to the students that I was the oldest person in the building. I told them their challenge is to get to my age. Sadly, most of them know they won't make it. Most of the people I knew are gone. I wouldn't trade the wisdom I now have for their youth. I can't imagine the world they will have to face. They live their lives around their music. I asked them why they rapped about guns and killing people. They had no answer. We left them the music they have now. Not by design but because we dropped the ball and let others end. Record company execs program them for prison and death. Time to leave the museum and let the ghosts die. If we can't reach them, we lose them. We lose them and we may lose all mankind, for they are the future. Peace. The Professor.